Good morning, students. Welcome to the biology class. I hope you must have enjoyed your summer vacations. You have also utilized your time very well. In our previous chapter, or you can say before the summer vacation, we discussed about photosynthesis, about the animal nutrition, which is considered to be a very important life process. And in this session, we are continuing with the life process, that is respiration. What is respiration? Respiration is a biochemical process of oxidation of organic compound taken as food to liberate energy that can be used by body cell. So in this equation you can see the organic compound, that is your glucose, that is to be in the form of a food, in the presence of oxygen, that is converted into the CO2, water and energy, and this energy is being utilized by the body cell to carry out their metabolic activities. So what are the end product of respiration? That is CO2 and water, and oxidation of food is known as the respiration. Glycolysis. It is the first and the common pathway of the respiration. Takes place in the cytoplasm, that is the ground substance of your cell. It results in breakdown of glucose to pyruvate acid, and further conversion of pyruvate acid depends upon the presence or the absence of oxygen. So what is glycolysis? It is the first and the common step of any type of the respiration. In our further session, we will discuss what are the various types of the respiration, that is aerobic and anaerobic. But the first step of your respiration is glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm. The end product of glycolysis is the pyruvate acid. So breakdown of the glucose by the various pathways, that is oxidation of glucose in two ways. If it takes place in the presence of oxygen, we know the respiration as aerobic respiration, and if it is in the absence of oxygen, it is known as anaerobic respiration. So in this flowchart you can see the various pathways. So that is glucose converted into pyruvate in cytoplasm. That process is known as glycolysis. This is the first step, and if the oxygen is being present, then it is taken in the mitochondria of the cell, and the end product is carbon dioxide, water and energy, and the form of respiration is aerobic respiration. In the absence of oxygen, the example is yeast. The end product is ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy, and the mode of respiration is anaerobic respiration. There is one special type of respiration, that is a lack of oxygen, that is in our muscle cells during the exercise. Then the end product is lactic acid, which causes swelling, and the energy is there. So in this flowchart you can say they are having a three strategies, there are three various pathways by which the oxidation of food takes place, but the common step is glycolysis, that is glucose first convert into the pyruvate, then it will enter in the mitochondria in the presence of oxygen, and in the yeast, bacteria, that is in the absence of oxygen, and in muscle during the lack of oxygen. First, that is aerobic respiration. During this process, glucose is completely oxidized into carbon dioxide and water and release large amount of energy in the form of ATP. Where it takes place, that is in the mitochondria of the cell. Example is in majority of animals and the plants. We too, the human beings, also respire through the aerobic respiration. Next is your anaerobic respiration. During this process, Glucose is incompletely broken down into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Example are yeast and bacteria. Pyruvate is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide in absence of oxygen. It takes place in the cytoplasm, whereas in our muscle cells, that is in our skeleton muscle, pyruvate is converted into lactic acid when there is a lack of oxygen. And how the lack of oxygen takes place during the physical exercises? The accumulation of lactic acid in the muscle cells causes the cramps, means सूजन आ जाना, बहुत ज़्यादा पेन होना, that means the cramps. कभी बहुत ज़्यादा जब हम खेलते हैं तो हमारे पैरों में सूजन आ जाता है, that is what is called as a cramp. And why? Because of accumulation of lactic acid. The next is your respiration in plants. So respiration in plants, that is plants, they are not having any particular special system for the exchange of the gases, but again they exchange the gases, that is O2 and CO2 with the environment, but they are not having any special respiratory organ, every part having its own particular opening on particular part through which the exchange of the gases takes place. That is, the plant exchange the gases, that is O2 and CO2 with their environment. Plants do not have a special respiratory organs for exchange and the system for transport of the gases. Different parts of the plant exchange gases through the different following part, that is stomata in the leaves, lenticles in the old stems and the old roots, and the general surface of the root. But one thing you must remember in that is exchange of gases takes place, that is O2 and CO2. In our previous chapter, that is the life process about the plant nutrition, that is a photosynthesis, exchange of gases takes place. But plant always intake the O2 and release the CO2. But that CO2 is being utilized by the plant for the photosynthesis and then ultimately release the O2. तो बहुत बार ये confusion होती है कि plant CO2 लेता है और O2 release करता है. But during respiration, every living organism will intake the O2 and release the CO2. Either it is a plant, it is an animal, but in the plant, plants will intake the O2 for the respiration. Then during the respiration, that O2 is being converted into the CO2 and that CO2 is being utilized by the plant and then release the O2 as the end product of the photosynthesis. So don't get confused with that कि plant will take the O2 and CO2 and release the O2. That is a wrong concept. Plant will always intake the O2 and release the CO2, but before releasing the CO2 during the daytime, that CO2 is utilized by the plant itself for the process of photosynthesis, and as the end product of the photosynthesis, the O2 is going to be released. So the respiration, if the word comes respiration, so the plant will intake the O2 and release the CO2. And during the photosynthesis, the plant will intake the CO2 and release the O2. But that CO2 comes from the respiration end product of the plant. Is it clear? So if there is any confusion regarding this, you can again solve that confusion. You can clear the doubt with me. So in this image, you can see this is the bark. When the plant becomes a woody brown color, you can see a number of the cracks on that, which are being known as the lenticle, through which the exchange of the gases takes place. And this is the structure of the lenticle. This is the opening through which the exchange of the gases takes place. And this is the leaf, and the leaves are having a small openings which are being known as the stomata, through which the exchange of the gases takes place. So our next lesson will be on the respiration in animals. Please copy all the content of this PPT in your classwork copy with the diagrams and I hope everything will be clear. If there is any doubt, you can contact me. We are available. Till then, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.